Have you ever had one of those moments where you realize you re exactly where you were supposed to be? Even if it's a place you never planned on visiting? That's what happened to me, not in Paris or Tokyo, but in a tiny, overlooked town in the heart of rural Japan. It's a story I've wanted to share for a while, about how getting completely and utterly lost can sometimes be the best way to find yourself. It all started with a simple plan. A meticulously organized 2-week trip through Japan, hitting all the major spots. I had my Japan Rail Pass, a pocket Wi-Fi, and a schedule timed down to the minute. Kyoto's temples, Tokyo's scramble crossing, Osaka's food scene, I was ready. For the first week, everything went like clockwork. I was a tourist on a mission, ticking off bucket list items, snapping photos, and moving on. It was efficient, it was impressive, but looking back, it felt a little hollow. I was seeing Japan, but I wasn't really feeling it. The turning point came on a train ride from Kanazawa to Kyoto. I was supposed to transfer at a specific station, but I was so engrossed in the scenery, these endless green rice paddies and misty mountains, that I missed my stop. Completely. By the time I realized my mistake, the train had pulled into a small, unfamiliar station. The sign was in kanji I couldn't read. My GPS was struggling. Panic started to set in. The next train back wasn't for another 3 hours. 3 hours. My perfectly planned itinerary was shattering before my eyes. Defeated, I stepped out of the station, expecting a deserted platform. Old wooden houses with tiled roofs, narrow lanes winding between them, and the sound of a river flowing nearby. There were no tourists, no souvenir shops, just the quiet hum of daily life. My initial frustration slowly melted away and was replaced by curiosity. I decided to explore. I walked down a lane and saw an elderly woman tending to her garden. She looked up, smiled, and offered me a freshly picked tomato. It was the sweetest, juiciest tomato I have ever tasted in my life. We didn't share a language, but we shared that moment. A simple, genuine human connection. That's when I realized this was the Japan I hadn't seen on my itinerary. Further down the road, I stumbled upon a small, family-run soba noodle shop. The smell was incredible. I hesitated, feeling like an intruder, but the owner, a man with a warm, weathered face, beckoned me inside. I pointed at the menu, and he brought me a steaming bowl of handmade soba noodles and a delicate broth. As I ate, I watched him and his wife work together, a silent practice dance they'd probably been doing for decades. It wasn't just a meal. It was an experience. It was a story in a bowl. While I was finishing my noodles, a young man who was also eating there, probably in his 20s, noticed my lost tourist vibe. He spoke a little English and asked me what I was doing there. I explained my predicament, how I'd missed my train. He just laughed and said, "Sometimes the best destinations are the ones you don't plan." His name was Kato, and he was a student home for the summer. He offered to show me around his town while I waited for my train. Kato took me to a small, hidden shrine deep in a cedar forest. The air was cool and smelled of damp earth and wood. He showed me how to purify my hands at the water basin and how to properly make a prayer. He told me local legends about the forest spirits and the history of his ancestors who had lived in this valley for generations. There were no signs in English, no audio guides. Just Kato's voice, the rustling leaves, and the weight of centuries all around me. I felt a sense of peace I hadn't found in any of the grand famous temples I'd visited. He then led me to a vantage point on a hill overlooking the entire valley. The town was a patchwork of rooftops and green gardens, with the river snaking through it like a silver ribbon. The sun was beginning to set, casting a golden glow over everything. It was breathtaking. We sat there in silence for a while, just watching the day end. Kato told me he was studying to be an engineer in Tokyo, but his heart was always here in this valley. He hoped to come back one day to help his community. As the time for my train approached, Kato walked me back to the station. We exchanged contact information, promising to stay in touch. When I boarded the train, I looked back and saw him waving from the platform, along with the soba shop owner who had come to see me off. My carefully planned itinerary was in shambles. I was hours behind schedule, but I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. That detour, that mistake, became the absolute highlight of my entire trip. It taught me something profound about travel. It's not about the checklists or the perfect Instagram shots. It's about the unexpected moments, the unplanned detours, the human connections you make when you let go of control. It's about allowing yourself to get a little lost. I did eventually make it to Kyoto that night, but my perspective had completely shifted. For the rest of my trip, I was more spontaneous. I wandered down alleyways that weren't on the map. I tried food from street stalls I couldn't identify. I talked to people, even with a language barrier. I started to really see and feel the places I was in. That accidental stop in a nameless town reminded me that the world is full of hidden beauty, waiting just off the beaten path. Sometimes the most memorable adventures are the ones we never intended to have. My advice to anyone who loves to travel: ditch the rigid plan every once in a while. Miss a train. Take a wrong turn. Let the world surprise you. You might just find something far more valuable than what you were originally looking for. I still keep in touch with Kyoto. He sends me photos of his town in different seasons, covered in snow, blooming with cherry blossoms. And every time I see them, I'm reminded of that one perfect, unplanned day. It's a reminder that the best stories often begin where the map ends. Thank you so much for joining me on this little journey back in time. If you've ever had a similar experience where getting lost led to an amazing discovery, I would absolutely love to hear about it in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed the story and subscribe for more travel adventures. See you in the next one.